Oh wait, talk a little more.
No.
Okay, because for a second you sounded like shit.
More importantly, I got a new water bottle so it doesn't go.
Oh yeah, this microphone sounds terrible.
No,
Yeah, doesn't
no,
sound as
it's
good as
you.
the old one.
Yeah, definitely you. We were using it for work. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, that's so much better."
I I don't tell you, man. It really does not sound as good. Is there something covering it, or?
No,
All
covering it.
right.
Cover your face.
Oh shit!
Right, you got punked, dog.
Do you
Okay.
do you guys still could you still write in cursive if you had to?
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, I use fountain pens all the time, so that's kind of what cursive was invented for.
Yeah, I think if I thought about it, if I concentrated, I could. But I just when I write by hand, I only I you know use print.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
even with a fountain pen, I use cursive a lot, but it's like saying you speak Spanish, but it's really Spanglish, you know? Like still pepper in plenty of print letters.
Yeah.
Like people claim that it's faster. I don't think it is.
It is. It's faster. But I don't
I don't
go
think
for
it is. There's so many curves and shit. Like a
yeah. Well, it's the
lot of
act of not
extra
having
lines you have to draw.
yeah. It's the act of not having to take the pen off the paper though.
Yeah, but still, it's still. I'm definitely faster printing. Um, I don't know how good is the gain on this. Can you hear my sister watching Star Trek in the other room?
I don't know. For right now, it's fine. Just sounds kind of muffled. But then when you were talking a bit more, I got a lot of background noise from something. I don't know what it was.
Can opener.
Okay.
She's making well, I was gonna say tacos, but they're tostadas in there.
What?
Tostadas.
Tostadas?
Yes,
Okay.
you eat them. See.
Sorry, it's genuinely hard to hear you. I mean, it's
Dude,
fine.
I don't know why. Like, it's seriously, I've never heard anybody else complain about hearing me except for you and Stu. It's always Stu every time. Everybody else never says anything. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you guys.
No, I'm specifically talking about whatever microphone is different today from like last week.
I know.
Okay. Well, we'll record this episode and then you can listen to it. This will be the one that you listen to.
No, it's not gonna help. I don't know what it sounds like before. How is it gonna
Well,
make any difference?
Brian, we we have 15 seasons of previous microphone recorded that you could listen to compare.
No.
We have 15 seasons.
Yeah, we started season 30.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is, season 2 of Strange New Worlds was way better than the first one.
Really?
I haven't
I
watched
like
either.
I liked season 2. I liked it a lot, but I like season 1 more personally.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's fair. Although the Lower Decks crossover episode is the best episode of Strange and one of the better episodes of Lower Decks.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of good episodes in both of those shows.
Oh yeah,
Actually,
no, there are. There
I mean,
are. Don't get me wrong. I'm not...
I immediately wanted to wonk that back with Strange New Worlds because there hasn't been that many episodes. So to say that there have been a lot of better than that one, but there's been a lot of really good episodes of Strange New Worlds. So I still think it's
I
correct.
thought you said you hadn't seen Strange New Worlds.
I hadn't seen Stranger Things.
Oh, I haven't watched that. I don't care. I don't give a shit about Stranger Things.
Did you say
Well,
Stranger
you
Things or
should.
Strange
It's-
New Worlds, Brian?
I definitely said Strange New World.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all should watch Stranger Things. It's fucking amazing.
I mean,
Eh,
probably.
I watched the first 2 seasons, and it was like, this is an okay show. Whatever. I didn't get it the same way that other people did, but whatever. Not everyone has to like everything. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
You have
Everyone
to like
has
what
to
I
like-
God fucking damn it.
Yeah, you have to like everything I like. That's the rules.
I like a lot of things you don't like.
Yeah, like history and knowing things.
Yeah.
And black people. Notice how he's laughing. He's not saying no.
I'm laughing because I doubt either one of you like black people as much as I do.
No,
Well,
there's one I kind of worship, but that's not the point.
Oh wait, now I need to hear. Ooh, which one?
That's well, a person you don't know. That's not really gonna help.
Oh, what's he like?
Yes.
What? Is it Black Brian? Do you remember Black Brian?
I do remember Blackburn.
Yeah.
I only saw him one time. I don't know. I'm surprised I remember.
I know.
This is probably because he has the same name as me and we kept calling him that.
This is back when we had Black Brian, Jew Brian, and White Brian.
you were calling him Black Brian?
That's what he introduced himself as.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then another Brian came, right? And then we had two
bet he did.
Brians who were not black. So they were both White Brians. And then we had to differentiate between the White Brians. So we had White Brian and Jew Brian.
Yeah. I don't know who that is, but I mean, I know who Jew Brian is. I figured that one out.
Okay, good. It'd be funny if both of the White Brians were Jewish. We just called the other one Jew Brian. Because you were not as Jewish as he was.
Jesus.
Like he goes to temple and stuff all the time. Brian's not very religious.
Well, almost all of that is unusable. That's fine though. It's fine. Hey, were you happy I didn't dox you?
Yes, I was. Thank you.
I don't know how you didn't realize that. Of course, I wasn't going to.
I just thought it was a slip of the tongue. It happens all the time, you know.
No,
You're just talking casually. You forget, you know.
I don't know what you're worried. It's not like he gave him your address. He said the city you're in. Like, give me a break.
No, it's a very small town, and my wife and I are both public officers, so it's not that hard to figure out.
I don't believe in cops. I don't care if you're public or private officers. ACAB.
God.
All right, we should get started then. I put the summary at the bottom. Someone is going to read it. There are no tongue twisters in it. I promise you. All right, everybody, welcome to. Shut up! I'm starting now. Although you didn't write the name of the episode on there.
Oh, I didn't.
You piece of shit. That's okay. I remember it. All right, everyone. Hi, and welcome to Outwit Outplay Outcast, the Survivor podcast on the Night of the Living Geeks Network. We're going to be talking about season 46, episode 4. Right? Yeah, I always forget the number, but this is episode 4, and it was called "Don't Touch the Stove." Oh no, don't touch the oven. That's right. Sorry. Look, someone didn't write it. So the fact that I got one of the words wrong doesn't really matter. Anyway, I'm Nick. That's the person who failed us all and didn't write it down. That's Brian. Nope, sorry, Andy.
No, it's Brian. Brian failed us all. Let's be clear here. It's Brian.
Brian failed us all by having a different headset that to me sounds perfectly fine. So I don't know what Andy is complaining about. Anyway, we're going to be talking about this episode, which was, oh boy. It had, actually, I shouldn't say that. For an episode where the end was telegraphed as far in advance as it was actually a really good episode. And it marks, in my opinion, the actual beginning of this season.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I already figured who went out first on Yanu.
Zelensky.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what?
They got rid of all the J's first, and then they went to Bhanu.
No, Gem is okay.
Well, she
Man,
said on Yanu.
I bet they wished this episode that they had kept Jesse over Bhanu.
Yeah. Well, you know what? No, yeah. I was going to say, it's hard to tell. She was not that physical of a player, and Banu's real problem was just that he was a crazy person. You know what I mean? He was, we should... Yeah,
before we get into this, let's recap episode 4.
I was going to say, first, I was going to suggest having a heart watch. Has Bhanu, he has 999,997 hearts right now. Does he have 3 more hearts in this room?
No.
I don't know. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, Bhanu, you've fallen 3 hearts short of your goal.
Yeah, I don't think he's got that many, but sure.
Yeah, well, it's too bad. Okay, now we can do it. I just want to do the heart watch first, because I at the top of my notes, just in case he survived the episode, and then heart watch would have been a continuing segment, but it is not. All right, someone read the summary, please.
All right, recapping episode 4. We pick up exactly where we left off, with Yanu celebrating Randon's misfortune. Kenzie has no idea how close she got to being voted off, so Bhanu hurls himself into the line of fire to protect her. Bhanu, just don't talk. So now Kenzie is safe and he's fucked. Bhanu is reduced to praying for a sliver of hope, but seriously, God is pissed off at you because you wadded up the hope he gave you and yeeted it into the sun. Tevin and Soa are being just the most at camp. Jem is being a mischievous little chaos goblin, re-hiding her beware advantage so someone can find it and dig a hole in the dirt. It's certainly funny, but now people know someone found it, even if they don't know it's her. Jess must have heard me whining last week because we're treated to a reward challenge. Points! Tim falls a lot, and Nick has some great laughs because there's nothing funnier than someone falling down and not getting hurt too much. Tim's falls are nothing, though, because Maria can't get her ring. Yanu and Nami tear ass and win fish. Yanu naturally trades the fish for tools and tarp because they have no flint and no fire, so they have no way to cook that fish. Tevin cooks fish, recounting how his dad taught him, and does not cry, Brian, when discussing it. Yanu builds a shelter, Q builds a Bhanu, Sega bonds after their loss, but Jem's goblin move destroys that, and she throws Tim under the bus just cuz. Tevin goes to war with Soda, Mariah learns to jump. Naturally, Yanu loses immunity again, and Bhanu is gone. I do agree. There's a lot of really fun and cute moments in this episode. That did make me glad that we were doing the 90-minute format, because even when it's like a scripted 60 minutes, like it still would have been a lot of Bhanu.
Oh yeah.
So like the Mariah learning to jump, we would not have gotten that.
I was thinking it's really interesting that last week you were saying how not having a reward challenge really like pulls focus and makes it kind of annoying. But there was a reward challenge this time around, and we got a lot of stuff on Yanu. I'm sorry, a lot of stuff on Nami and a lot of stuff on Sega. So yeah, I was really pleased. And then watching Mariah jump, I was just like, I was astonished at the diversity of human experience that someone could live to be 26, 27. I forget how old she is, but she's under 30. Could live to be that long and never have jumped in her life.
She had jumped. She just is not good at it. Has no coordination for it, I think. I don't know.
You don't need coordination. You push your legs down and then push up. There's no coordination involved.
Yeah.
It's like she wasn't jumping. She was just throwing her arms in the air.
Yeah, she had no idea. Like, and again, I'm not making fun. I really genuinely do think it's amazing that someone can be that old and just have never jumped. Like, I'm sure, like, she was probably really glad when she saw the challenge, and it wasn't you have to
Didn't
like
matter
run
at
and
all.
jump, and you have to run and jump and like grab a ring or whatever, that sort of thing. You didn't have to
Yeah.
do that. You just had to basically fall off of the things. Like, oh, I can fall off that, no problem. And you know what? She was actually really good at the challenge. Well, I shouldn't say really good. She wasn't like tear-assing her way through, but she was good enough at it. And so, yeah. But yeah, I really do think it's amazing that, and she is a very intelligent person and has a whole bunch of skill sets of her own and all that kind of stuff, but has also just never jumped. And I tried it myself just because I was like, well, all right, how much could I jump if I tried? I got 6 inches, 6-inch
Yeah, you got
vertical
6
minimum, easy. Wait, but that's the thing is, she had like a 2-inch vertical if you were
Yeah.
watching that.
If that much.
If that much, yeah. And when they trained her, I loved watching them do the montage where they're building up her confidence and everything. But even at that, she still like maybe got like 4-inch vertical leap. Like that was just amazing. And I'm not saying that my 6-inch leap is anything to write home about, but also I'm not on Survivor.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's
I-
what you gotta practice before you get out there, right? Like if you're Mariah and you know it's gonna happen, like you gotta practice at home.
I feel like Charlie's a very bad coach.
Kind
You know
of.
what you know what you shouldn't tell people when they're making absolutely no progress on what they're supposed to be doing, and don't go, "Good job, you're doing good." No, you need to tell her, "No, that's not right. You need to do something different."
No, here's the thing. Like I said, she had like a 2-inch jump to start. She now has like a 4-inch jump. She doubled her range.
I don't think it was any different. I don't know what you were looking at. It was like exactly the same at the end.
No, I mean let's be
Yeah.
realistic.
Because they kept praising her when she didn't do any better.
Because that's all you want to do. You want to just pump up her confidence. Because let's be realistic. She's not going to suddenly become a good jumper out there with 9 days after no food, right? She's not going to build
definitely will
muscle
not be
mass and
slam
become a
dunk.
good jumper out of nowhere. Like what
Right.
you need to do is just like get her some confidence so that during the challenge she's not like in her own head about it. Like just do whatever you got to do. Have the confidence and maybe she'll pull it off. Like she's not going to actually become a better jumper in the 10 minutes you're spending with her or 2 hours, however long it was. It's not, you're not going to get anywhere. Just make her feel good so she goes at the challenge with gusto.
Thankfully, really thankfully, she didn't have to actually jump. And like, okay, here's the thing. Knowing she can't jump is actually kind of an advantage now because we're getting pretty close to the whatchamacallit,
Merge.
to the merge. I mean, we're still not there yet, but we're pretty close. And at some point, not being able to jump is going to bite her in the ass.
Is it though?
Well, she's going to lose a challenge. Like, okay, for sure, I don't need to worry about her in this immunity challenge because that lady can't jump.
But I mean, even the ones where they do have to jump off and grab the key, if you notice, most of them literally just fall off and grab it.
It's pretty easy. But
Was there? I feel like last season there was somebody who jumped and then just completely whiffed and didn't even hit the thing.
yeah, I was wanting to smash a plate. I don't remember who it was that didn't do it.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't because they couldn't reach it, though.
Oh no, I know.
They just missed.
I just thought that was really funny. Like I said, anytime someone fails and doesn't hurt themselves, oh, it's great. It's great. Because then you can laugh and not feel guilty. Like when later in the episode when Tim jumped onto that platform, like unnecessarily too. Like, come on, man, you could have just swum out there. Like, I laughed, but then like when he had his legs were just sticking straight up, I was like, oh shoot, I hope he didn't like break his ankle or something like that. I'm gonna feel real bad. And then when he got up and started tossing the ball, I was like, okay, cool. I feel okay for laughing now. You had me worried there, Tim.
Yeah, I'm not that nice. If he hurt himself because he was being stupid, I would have still laughed at him.
Like the Matthew who fell and broke his arm or whatever, climbing on a rock for no good reason.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
well, I mean, I didn't really laugh at that one. It wasn't a funny fall, but landing on your ass is always funny.
Okay.
Yeah,
I did get a good laugh at him flopping around on that buoy.
Yeah.
Which then made me confused why like all the focus was on Maria not being like I get the feeling Maria's took a lot longer, but like the margin of victory was not that long. Like if Tim had not jumped onto the buoy and flopped around all that many times, they still might have like it also kind of was Tim's fault.
Well, that was 2 different challenges.
No, it was the same challenge.
The reward challenge was where Maria was having trouble with the rings.
Yeah, they started in the water with the boat, and then they had to go to the buoy with the boat, get a key, and then go get the thing.
No. Sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
Sorry, he fell twice. So when he was doing that,
Yeah.
I was laughing. I was referring to when I say he fell and kind of like landed weird and jumped on it
off
completely
the platform,
unnecessarily.
shooting the baskets.
Yes.
Okay.
I was referring to later. Sorry. Yes, he had two. He had two falling related things. No, yeah. They focused on that just because it was kind of funny and he didn't hurt himself. And then they focused on Maria because Maria is definitely the one that cost them that win.
Yeah, Tim cost them too. Just maybe it didn't take up as much time, but like I was saying, like the difference was one basket. It could have been Tim's fault as much as it could have been Maria's fault.
We are talking about the immunity challenge now. Sorry. Wait. Let's talk about the reward challenge and pretend the immunity challenge didn't happen.
Okay.
That's where I'm saying him humping the thingy, trying to get the other thing, and falling over a whole bunch.
That's the reward.
Yeah, that's the reward, which is what we're talking about right now.
Him shooting baskets and falling off the platform for the shooter was the immunity.
Correct.
And
which
he
is
fell
why I
on
said
both of them.
right. Which is why I said right now we're just going to talk about the reward.
Okay. I love the reward.
Because you're right. Because he did that in both of them, we can get confused.
Yeah.
So who's on first? We're talking about the reward challenge. What's on second? We're talking about the immunity. So
right.
Who's on first?
Who's on first? When the
Correct.
tribes pull up, and it turns out Yano didn't lose anybody because Random was pulled. I love the other two tribes give Yanu a pity clap, like, "Oh yeah, good for you guys, you didn't lose nothing." And then when they win, even when they win, they still got more pity clap. Like nobody clapped for Nami, but they clapped for Yanu, like, "Oh, good for you guys, that's so cute."
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I like last week you were talking about the one time they should be shocked about when people come in, and they were just totally calm about it. They was okay.
Yeah. Oh, he was removed. Okay, cool.
I mean, they looked confused for a second, right? Like the wrong tribe lost somebody, and then you got okay, because Jeff explained it right away. And 2/3 of the people out there were not surprised. Like Yanu was not surprised, and Nami was not surprised. So just leaves to take a reaction, and they're gonna get they're looking at the other two for a reaction, and they're not surprised. So don't guys be surprised too.
Yeah, but they didn't go, oh,
Yeah, which they really ought to have.
Yeah, more than anything else, like, holy shit, what happened to Tribal? What happened to Nami? Or what happened to Nami? Oh, fuck.
Not me.
You're like, yeah, that's a pretty good tribal. They voted out somebody from the other tribe.
Yeah. Super effective. I really like the way Jeff sold the fish by describing them as 10 decent-sized fish.
Yeah, I mean, compared to what they're catching themselves, pretty good.
Yeah. I know, but I just thought it was funny that he was just like, they're decent sized. Not overselling it, but it's like, when you saw Tevin cooking them, you're like, yeah, no, those are going to be good size. Each of them can actually eat something.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's two parts, right? If you say big fish, no matter how big it is, there's going to be some fuckers out there who go like, oh yeah, well I catch a tuna and that's so big, or I catch marlin, right? There's going to be those fuckers. But the other thing is, if you give them fish that are too big and they eat it, you're going to make them all fucking sick at this point. So you can't give them too big a fish.
Yeah, well, just like if the four of them had actually taken 10 fish, they probably couldn't have eaten it all. Because they've barely been eating, because they have no fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, how could you go that long without fire? Like, shouldn't you just be like, when you're sitting around at camp, just be trying all day to make fire? What are you guys doing?
No, I mean, with making fire without flint is really, really hard.
I understand that. But still, they have nothing else to do. There's no reason they shouldn't just be trying to make fire the whole time.
I mean, the problem that's been mentioned in pre-pandemic previous seasons was that people who tried to make fire without flint, they inevitably use up a whole bunch of their energy, and at least then they had food that they could replace it with. Not much because they didn't have fire, but they had some sort of food they could eat. they don't have that here, so they don't have the energy to waste on it. So they're basically just eating coconut and breadfruit and papaya ants. So yeah.
Poor Jesse.
I thought Jess was okay.
Yeah.
By the way, I love pointing out when people say stupid things. I'm sure you know. Liz talking about, I'm allergic to all the fruit and the coconut. Like,
The fuck are you doing out here?
That's,
Yeah.
Well, my point was coconut is.
Coconut is yes, it is.
Fruit.
No, sorry, yeah. I've been that question has been on trivia games in the past, and I've gotten it wrong, and I've been mad every time. Just like bamboo. I'm thinking bamboo. Never mind. I was gonna say coconut trees are more related to grass, but that's bamboo that's more related to grass than trees. Anyway, coconut. It's not a nut. It's a fruit. It's bizarre and weird, but yeah.
Most nuts are nuts either.
Like if you have allergies that bad, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. But she's still in the game.
Right?
I mean, they wouldn't let her out there if they didn't think it was possible somehow.
That's true. And also, like she said, oh yeah, it makes my throat feel weird and tighten up or whatever. So she is eating it. She is drinking it. She's allergic, but she's not like mega super allergic is the thing. She's not deathly allergic to it. So I have a feeling that it's
less than everybody else.
Yeah. Like I have a feeling that if she was like, oh yeah, I can't eat fish or else I swell up and die, they'd just be like, maybe just sit this one out.
So
maybe she didn't know, and like maybe she hasn't had like papaya before, and then she was eating it, and she was like, well, shit.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, no, because she mentioned in the first episode that she's allergic to it. Like, I can't. Yeah. I mean,
she was like, I'm super duper fucking rich, but I can't eat papaya, so you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's no big loss. Have you had papaya? It's fucking gross.
I like the color of papaya. It's nice, bright red. Yeah. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, I liked it was kind of a neat twist on the challenge that like getting those rings off of the pole isn't just a matter of strength. Well, I guess if you're super duper strong, you just huck it and it goes.
Yeah.
But if you aren't super strong, like Liz had a little bit of trouble with hers. If you're not super duper strong and you throw it with all of your might, it's going to like rebound and lose a lot of its upward momentum and then bounce around and fall back down. She eventually got it, but like if you noticed, she got it by throwing it basically straight up instead of bouncy.
Mm-hmm.
Not Liz. Sorry.
Well, that's the point.
Maria.
You have to throw it straight up. That's the point.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to throw it straight up, but like most people, they throw it and it's gonna bounce off.
Hula hoop around the pole.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, but that was Maria's problem. Like she would throw it up, but then it would bounce, lose momentum, and kind of spin, and then just drop.
You know why I think it took her much longer than it should have?
Because she's bad.
No. When she started failing, she was like pausing in between. Like you're thinking about it too much now, and you're gonna screw yourself.
That's what I'm saying.
If she just kept throwing it.
She lost confidence, and she got in her own head.
Yeah, exactly. If she just kept throwing it, she probably could have done it faster.
Yep.
Oh, good.
So what do you guys?
Yeah.
Thank you, Corn. Wait, was that Corn?
Yeah, with a K.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was like, I forgot which one was the band.
Yeah, that's Corn.
But
yes, that was Corn. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
awesome.
The 90s.
No, Gem, she rules, right? Like just that little bit of chaos. And then when people are like, oh, I think someone found it, and she's like, you know who I bet it was? I bet it was Tim. And everyone's like, yeah, fucking Tim, right? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, at first when she replanted it, I had the same thought you had, which was like, they're going to dig and discover it's not there. Like, then they'll know somebody has it, right? They'll know it's been found, right? Like, you're kind of giving up the ghost. But I like that in the confessional, she even didn't seem to give a fuck about that. She didn't say it directly, but she was like, I just want to make things nutso. Like, just want to get people pointing at each other. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm like, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I think she got very lucky because that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, but then they're gonna figure out someone has it, and then you're just gonna screw yourself. But like, it wasn't even her idea to say it was Tim. She was
Yeah,
just, I
someone
think
else.
it's Tim. She's like, yeah, it is, huh? It's probably Tim.
He's totally
Yeah, he seemed
overcompensating. Did you see how
fine.
hard he was digging?
Yeah. Well, also like she's doing the Russell thing, but not burning someone's socks. Like she wants everyone to feel a little bit paranoid, and it's like, yeah, all right, the chaos is her goal. So I'm like, okay, I don't know if that's gonna work, but that was like she knew exactly what she was doing. That was her goal of getting folks to be a little bit whoopie doo.
Which
Yeah.
I like. Jeff has said that their casting strategy no longer is around archetypes. Like they're no longer trying to find like the villain, the this, the that, the blah blah blah. And he specifically said, in interviews before, like he never wants to cast villains again because he feels like they color a season too much. They're too
Yeah.
strong of a characters, and they put the other players through hell in a way that the game doesn't account for, and disadvantages whatever tribe they're on if they're a true villain, right? Like whatever tribe Russell's on, that tribe is immediately disadvantaged by him being there.
Yeah.
You know, it's unfair to the other two tribes because unless you manage to get 3 villains all equally villainous, like it's gonna be rough. But I
Yeah.
appreciate that even through this casting strategy, we've got 2, maybe 3 decent villains this season, and I'm kind of here for
And
it.
even when you think about it, like, okay, Bhanu, bad player, has torpedoed his entire tribe, and so he's effectively a villain, but he's not actually a villain.
No, I wasn't thinking him. I was thinking of Kenzie and Tiffany. I think they're villains.
Yeah, they are. But I'm saying Bhanu, if you think about it, like he has completely screwed over his entire tribe. His badness in general at the game is what caused them to lose 4 immunity challenges in a row, basically, and vote out people who may have been better, and then also spill all of their secrets.
Yeah, that's
Like,
the big
okay,
one.
it's really not that big of a deal because they already knew, for example, that Q and Tiffany were close, and like the only thing he really told them was that Kenzie is the mastermind, and even at that, like I think they would have noticed it pretty soon anyhow, just because she didn't really seem to have many loyalties outside of herself, and so I just feel that she would have turned on her tribe at a merge, and it would have become really obvious.
Yeah, yes, I can see where you're coming from, but my pushback is that like if you go into the merge and you have like a tribe of 6 and a tribe of 5, right? Your ammunition's pretty even on both sides, and what they're going to naturally want to do is fight over the Yanu players, right? But if you go into it and the 2 big tribes know that the Yanu tribe is a tight 3, right? Then Yanu has to stay together as a block. They can't effectively play both sides. They're going to have to pick a side, right? And then they're going to have to be at the bottom of that one. Like they can't pull what Tika did. They can't pull what what was the name of Yellow Yuzu? I think it was a long time ago. It's something with a Y. They were a yellow tribe. I think 41. But like when you have that small core group, what you have to do is play both sides, and you have to pretend that you don't have an alliance within your 3. And that it's, 7-6 this week, and next week it's 6-6, and then it's 5-6 and 6-5, like you have to do that back and forth game, and you can't do it if both of the larger tribes know that you're a solid block of 3, or you're 2 stooges in an alliance with Kenzie calling the shots. Like it immediately takes away gameplay options from me. I don't think it paints as big of a target as Tiffany and then we're rolling their eyes about, but it does take away a lot of options come merge.
Mm-hmm.
Why were they so surprised?
About what?
They were even saying when Bhanu went on the journey, he's over there telling them everything right now. I'm like, well, you already knew. Why are you so surprised when he admitted it?
Yeah, he just confirmed your suspicion.
And especially the fact that he just blurted it to them. It's like, oh my god, dude, because it really was oh wow, it's great that we got this good bit of luck where I'm saved and we don't have to go to tribal council. By the way, I said something stupid and I told them this and I told them that, and it's like ugh. And then I do love that, Q, he had his moment, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna build a better Banu. And he just took him aside and he's like, all right, I'm Jeff. I'm asking you how the tribe is going. What do you say? And he would just gave those answers. It's like, good, there you go. That's how you do it. And even then, he got mad. He's like, they're telling me I'm older than them, and they're telling me how to play. And it's like, well, because they're not very good at it. Yeah.
I did appreciate that came after they won the reward. I like they won the reward and they were super happy, and then they got back to camp. They're like, "Fuck! What if we win again with Banu?" Like,
Yeah.
their whole plan was like, "Of course we're going to lose again, and then we can vote out Banu." But they suddenly had a realization, like, "Holy shit, we might make it to the merge with Banu,"
Yeah.
and that's a problem.
Yeah. That's a liability. That's a liability. But it's okay because God chose him. That was my thing. Sorry, what were you saying?
I think I can say definitively, Banu is absolutely the worst player that's ever been on this game.
I think so. Like the worst. So here's the thing: he's the worst player that hasn't quit. And the worst, because I mean, like, let's face it, Hannah and no, Brandon didn't quit. He just saw the writing on the wall, much like Banu did in this one. But Hannah, she just quit, and it's like that's bad. That's worse. But skill wise, yeah, he's the worst. He really is. He did not know what he was doing, and he didn't bring anything to the challenges. And just like, oh, poor guy.
I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe because we got to see how bad he was in a certain way, but there's lots of bad Survivor players. I'd say there's probably even one who was as bad like this season. Like, didn't Jelinski also in like a journey fold like a house of cards, give up the ghost?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and had no vote, was like universally voted out. Like, he lost every single thing he did in like the 2 days he was there.
And he was talking about how he was a legend.
Yeah, and he gave up. He gave up on He gave up on sweat. He gave up on the journey. Like to say Banu's the worst. I don't know. There's a lot of 1 day boots who deserve to be 1 day boots.
Well, okay, I think we can agree on this then. Jelinski and Banu are the two combined two worst players to ever be on a tribe.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, that's how we can split that baby.
You know what? I think Tiff said actually the best thing in this episode.
What'd she say?
Said if you want to win 1 million hearts, go volunteer somewhere.
Yes, I laughed at that pretty heartily.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, the hell are you coming on Survivor for that? Like,
Yeah, like.
and he said it a third time.
Yeah,
I know.
You know it's a line he practiced.
Oh no, I guarantee you, he said it in his interviews and everything before the game started. And they're like, "This is the kind of player we want." Which I can't blame them. They want a person who has seen it all, like who is familiar with the game, and they want a person who will be like Coach. You know what I mean? Because Coach, he wanted to win 1 million hearts. He would never have described it that way, but that's essentially what it was. He wanted to be on the show and for people to see how good of a man he was.
And to show that there's an honorable way to play the game. That was his big goal.
Yeah, and that's kind of yeah. Okay, there was a minor difference, but yeah, oh man, no, yeah. But
I mean, Banu kept saying like he just wanted to come out here and play an honest game with his emotions, and it's like you can 100% do that. Like, there are successful players who have gotten to Final Tribal by using their emotions. Like, Carolyn's a recent one, but like going back to like Nora, there's plenty of players who have gotten to Final Tribal at the very least, playing with their emotions and playing honestly too. It's just like you can just not give information, and there's not a lie in withholding information, right? Like, okay, fine, you fucked up at the journey. You told them what you weren't supposed to tell them, but like, learn that lesson. Don't make that same mistake to your tribe. When you go back to your tribe and you're feeling kind of guilty about having told all the information, just don't say anything. Don't tell your
Yeah.
own tribe.
Yeah.
If he'd have maybe kept his mouth shut, it might have been Kenzie. If he'd have not told them.
Well, that's the problem. Like that. So that's where we're bringing up hypotheticals that we basically just should not even mention, because it's like when people say, "Hey, would the Nazis have won World War II if Hitler wasn't around?" And it's like, well, they wouldn't have been Nazis if Hitler wasn't around. So it's the same thing of saying, like, well, if he was a better player, Bhanu would have survived. It's like, yeah, that's why but he's not that better player.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm also kind of saying, like, Q was the one holdout for Bhanu, and then when Bhanu told that truth, Q gave up on him. I think part of it, at least the editing, was like, I can't believe you told them that after we had been coaching you, but like, it shows he can't learn the lesson. And if you're trying to coach him up and coach him up and coach him up, and he can't learn the lesson, like, what are you coaching him up for? He's not taking it in. He's not absorbing it in the way that he needs to. Like, even if you see an opportunity out of a liability, it ain't happening.
Yeah, we had an employee a long time ago. We had an employee like that who was making a really simple mistake, and not even a big mistake, just like a simple one. And it was like, oh, hey, yeah, just do this instead of that. Like, basically press A instead of pressing B. And he's like, oh, okay, sure. And then 2 days later, like the next day, he's pressing A instead of B. Good job. And then 2-3 days later, he's back to pressing B instead of pressing A. And it's like, oh, hey, you were doing really well for a couple of days. Just to, press A instead. He's like, oh, okay. And then he just kept making the same mistake. And after a while, it was like, look, we're going to fire you if you do it again. And it's not because you don't do a good job. It's because you can't follow this simple instruction. And so, what can you do? And we didn't want to, but it's like, we've got to let you go, man.
Yeah.
And
I think that's where you got to.
I would like to not talk about Bhanu anymore, because there were two other things that I thought were really neat, and he's taken up enough of our time. We always have this problem in the early part of a season where there's one person we don't like for whatever reason, and then we just spend a lot, because the show focuses a lot of time on them, and so we have to focus a lot of time on them. But one thing that I appreciated was Soda talking about how winning kind of creates its own little challenge, because you can't vote anyone out, and you can't make moves, and you can't like Kevin very correctly identifies, oh, she is playing the same game that I'm playing.
Yep.
And so I need to get rid of her. And then Hunter is also thinking, oh, she is competing for Tevin's attention, which is part of my strategy, so I need to get rid of her. But they just can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nobody had any more thoughts on that? That's fine.
They can't start. Because we're always like, well, they keep running. Well, they're not even doing strategy. You literally can't, because once you do that, then they go, oh, well, they're trying too hard, and then they vote you out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing with multiple seasons too. It's not just that. It's that you can talk strategy, and you can talk scenarios, and you can talk back and forth to people, but you can have those conversations, but they kind of almost don't matter if the rubber doesn't hit the road, right? We've had other tribes before who get to merge with 6, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh fuck, we have to vote somebody out tonight, and suddenly they're actually open to being voted out, and just that possibility of it being one of them changes the way that they play. And then after the vote, they see if there were cracks in their tribe or how things did fall. Then you have concrete evidence with which to work. So it's not just that they can't strategize. They can strategize till the cows come home, but they don't have solid, Tevin can say Soda all he wants, but if he doesn't put his money where his mouth is in a tribal, it almost doesn't matter. I mean, it kind of does, but he could say a different thing tomorrow, and there's not really a consequence for having done that.
It's essentially, it's a gang initiation, if you really think about it in a very cynical way, where it's like, when all 6 of you are together, hey, we're all friends, everything's great, it's all fantastic. But, when 5 of you kill one person, you're bonded for life. You blood in, blood out,
Yep.
So, yeah. All right. And then the other thing that I was going to mention now is what's on second is the immunity challenge. Because I really liked that Hunter was granny tossing those balls. Mm-hmm. It is statistically proven that you will have better free throw rate, shooting rates in basketball if you underhand throw like that. There was a player for the Warriors. I'm forgetting his name all of a sudden, but like he was a player in the 70s, and he had like a 90. I want to say Chuck Berry, but I know that's the the guitar player, cousin of Marvin Berry, who just stole rock and roll from Marty McFly. God,
You're right. It was Rick Barry.
Yeah, oh, it was Rick Barry.
Yep, it was Rick Barry.
Oh, I was thinking Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry is the name that I was coming up with. Yeah, Rick Barry. He had like a 90+% free throw rating, which is unheard of, and it was all because he would just hook it up, like hold it in his legs and then throw it like grandma style. And nobody will do that. People will very confidently have like a 40% free throw rate because they just don't want to be seen as the person who underhand throws it. But sure enough, he, at least according to the edit, three throws, 3 balls. So good for Hunter.
I don't know who said it, but somebody was like, well, whatever. As soon as Hunter gets the ball, it's over. I don't know who said it. And I was like, okay, whatever, ass. But then apparently it was right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did see some discussion online that like Hunter is putting too much of a target on his back, and Hunter is like should be pulling it back a little bit because come merge, he's going to be like instant target, right? So that's like the criticism of how he's playing, because he's not really playing a huge social game. We see him out swimming by himself and being the quote unquote camp provider, which doesn't really get you that far, and we know that, right? But I still think it's the right play, right? Like Nami is dominant in challenges almost because of him, and I think your best shot is to try to get to the merge like as complete and intact of a tribe as you possibly can, and like but at this point, like they know they know he's a challenge beast in puzzles and in the throwing of stuff. Like last episode we saw him like chucking the those sandbags up there, and he like did like 4 out of 5, like boom boom boom. Like it's a known quantity that Hunter's like, if he pulls back now, it's not going to change the threat radar on him. I think you just go all in, nail everything you can, and go in with Nami as strong as you can get it.
Okay, well, you got to figure those Nami members are all hit points, and he has plenty of hit points to spend right now. And the thing about being a challenge, like a threat in challenges, is that you can always play the, look, I'll lose at some point card. Just don't worry, you'll have another chance to vote me out. But Kevin over here, Sona over here, they're real. Kenzie over there, they're real social players. Those are the sneaky players who are going to get through. So you want to get rid of them before you get rid of me, because look, I'll lose down the line at some point. So yeah, I think I'm interested to see what Hunter does when he's challenged, because so far he hasn't been challenged. Not because he's been so good. So yeah. But I'm interested to see what he does. I'm obviously I hold him in my team, so I really hope he rises to the occasion. But who knows?
And I mean, we'll see. Sometimes they do a great job with the individual challenges, making them the ones that like anybody could win. You know?
Yeah.
When we had the golden god Jonathan, who's actually a legitimate like fucking world record holding bodybuilder on this show, like they got to the individual parts and he would lose to 120-pound 30-year-old girl, like because it's about endurance and stamina and like just grit and like balancing on a fucking pole, like he's got a lot of muscle mass. It's more work for him. Like it could be the same deal with Hunter, like nailing it in the tribal, but like when you get to the individual, it's a little more balanced and maybe he doesn't hang as much.
Yeah.
I know you want to transition off of Bhanu. I just want to point out, right, that through 4 episodes, Bhanu had more confessionals and more confessional time than Parvati did in the entirety of her winning season. Parvati being sexy and charismatic. And whether or not you like Parvati, like, I think it says something about the way the show is edited now and how much time you get with players so they can, quote unquote, tell their story. Like we get, and not just screen time of Bhanu, right? Like we see Bhanu with his tribe. This doesn't even count that. It's strictly talking confessionals.
Well, I'll give him that in confessionals, he was good and entertaining for the most part. It was when he wasn't composed, like around his teammates and whatever, when he was literally like hanging off of things and praying to God or whatever. That's just like, oh, come on, man, and crying. But when he was composed and talking about like, oh, Kenzie is the dragon and the mermaid and all that kind of stuff, I was like, yeah, no, he's got some good insights. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean his end of this episode was tough to watch, but it was the 5 stages of grief, and it was edited that way on purpose. And so they wanted to go through all of them. It's fine.
Yeah, no, that makes
sense. It's the
sense.
story they wanted to tell.
He was oh, that's interesting. Yeah, he was in denial in the beginning because he's like, oh yeah, I'm safe, and then anger. Yeah, he got depressed, and then he was bargaining by looking for the idol and everything. So,
anger was when he said he was angry at God. Like, why did you send me here if I'm going to suck this bad?
Like, I didn't send you here. You decided to go here.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you you have to take it, bitch. Yeah. So
yeah, but anyway. It's not my take. That was Jeff said that in his podcast that was their intention. The intention behind the edit was to show the 5 stages of grief.
It's interesting, yeah, because he definitely reached a state of acceptance at the end.
Yeah.
So,
I will say there were a few like just great funny. There's one tracking shot they did of Kenzie where the cameraman clearly bumps into a tree because then he walks behind the tree and it goes in front of him.
Like, I missed
he's
that.
He's walking sideways and then the camera jostles and then a half second later a tree passes in front of the camera. And then
I did not notice that.
When Kenzie asked Bhanu, like, "Are you okay?" "I am not. Goodbye." There were for an episode that I really found difficult to watch, like at least a third of it was just difficult to watch. Like there were a lot of great funny moments in here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And apparently the tree that they were all digging under is where Coco tried from season 43. That was their pooping area. So they were digging through. They would go poop under that tree, and that's where they were digging.
Gross.
And that's why there's so many ants. It was very fertile dirt.
Jem, you little rascal, you.
I don't think she knew that, but it's gonna be.
No, I know she didn't. But just the idea of I'm gonna rehide it. Yeah. Well, tactically, it's kind of like. Did you ever watch The Life Aquatic?
Nope.
So the whole deal of it is like this shark. Basically, Bill Murray is Jacques Cousteau, and a shark eats his cameraman or whatever. And so he announces his next movie is going to be him killing the shark. And everyone's like, oh, and what scientific purpose will that serve? And he's just like, revenge. And it's like, that was Jem in this one. It's like, I'm going to put this under here. And it's like, well, what strategic purpose are you doing that, Jem? It's like, I don't know. Shits and giggles.
We'll,
and I'm like,
we'll find out later.
Jem, just to see what happens. It's like, oh yeah, see what happens, Jem.
I'm kind of annoyed that I don't get to add her now.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to add her too, but Brian's got her.
Are you saying that she's basically podcast?
Hopefully. Because I know it's the edit, right? But like they show them digging in the dirt, and then there's a voiceover confessional of her talking about she just wants chaos to happen, and then there's just her smirking, sitting in the middle of their camp. I'm like, oh, that's fucking great.
And like they're complaining, or not complaining, but they're saying like, oh man, these ants are so big. She's just like, oh yeah.
That's crazy. I can't believe Jeff would put it there.
Yeah. I thought that was really interesting when Mariah said to the camera, and it's like, it makes sense that this is 2 of the rules of the game. Jeff will never lie, and Jeff will never give you an impossible task.
Yep.
I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense that they're told that straight up. These are the rules of the game. Like that's really interesting. I like that. I never heard it said out loud. It's like, yeah.
I don't know if they ever said that to them. I think she's just figured that out.
Maybe.
I don't know. Jeff on his podcast pointed it out too. He's never explicitly told them that, but it is a rule that he has and that they followed for all 46 seasons.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He doesn't lie.
Oh, I thought it was like an official rule. Okay, never mind then.
Doing something you can achieve? I don't know. That's a little bit of a weird one. Cloudy, because there's stuff that they put hide for anybody to find, and they don't know who's going to find it and if that person can do it or not. But
yeah, but they're not going to say dig here and then you've got to dig like a 10-foot thing or whatever, or they're not going to say dig here and then there's nothing there. Yeah, there will be something there, and they will give you some sort of clue or guide Like if you remember a long time ago, we're talking like Cook Islands, long time ago. They had an Exile Island mechanic, and then while you were on Exile Island, they said, yeah, you can dig right around here, and there's going to be some sort of idol here somewhere. And it was like the area that they gave them was basically the entire sandbar. So if they dug up the entire island, they would eventually find it. But they said, and then they started narrowing it down. But like that's the thing, is like it was there. They told you just it's somewhere. Just get digging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, should we go to fantasy now?
Yeah, you got anything, Brian?
Nah, bruh.
Right.
Huge ass dick.
Yeah.
It's true. So the thing with episode 4 is there's 2 bets that Brian and I are out of now. We had the how long till there's an exciting new twist bet. I had said episode 4, and that clearly did not happen. We had a drop your buffs bet, and Brian said episode 4. It's not looking that. Nick said episode 6, and that's feeling about right. So that's going to be Nick's points most likely. We have other bets too. You can go to outwitoutplayoutcast.com on the left. Hit the link that says fantasy. We have all of our bets there. And scoring for how scoring goes. Nick, you came into the weekend last with 11 points, but you had Tiffany, Tevin, and Hunter. Tiffany got you 4 points because she survived Tribal Council and won a reward challenge. And Tevin and Hunter are both on Nami, so they both got you 2 points, 1 each for winning each challenge. So that's 8 onto your 11, giving you 19. I came in the week in second place with Q, Maria, and Bhanu. Bhanu got me 0 points because he was eliminated. I was really hoping he'd get 1 or 2, and then like Kenzie would be eliminated, and I get those couple extra points for it. No, didn't happen. Q got me 4 because survival and winning reward. Maria only got me 1 because the only thing Sega won was that immunity challenge. So that is 5 onto my 20, giving me 25. Brian, you came in the weekend first with 21 points. You got 2 from Venus because Nami won both challenges, 1 from Gem because she only won the 1. But you got 5 from Kenzie because she survived travel, won the reward challenge, and said the episode title. So that is 8 onto your 21, giving you 29. So it's Brian in first with 29, me with 25, and Nick with 19. And I have to replace Bhanu. My choices are Ben, Charlie, Liz, Mariah, Soda, and Tim. And among those, I'm going to take Ben.
Yeah. I would have taken Ben or Charlie.
I think I don't know how Ben is in terms of like challenges, if he's challenge beast or whatever. But I did like that when he was on the journey with Bhanu, he was the one who was chill with Bhanu, supported Bhanu in the way he needed to be supported, and milked him for information successfully.
Yeah.
Like he did all of those social moves flawlessly.
Yeah. Ben has a good social game. You're right. I don't know how good he is in challenges or not. He also is chatty and is funny, so he may say the thing, he may say the title. And, he's not a liability in challenges, so he's got a puncher's chance in any of them. So, Ben's a good pickup. Charlie, I also think would have been a good pickup because he's got something in him where I can for sure see him getting to the final tribal council if he doesn't screw up. Ben, I could see being a little too popular and getting voted out because of that.
I don't know. I think Ben's got that level of popular that's like behind Tevin, behind Soda. I think Charlie's a little louder of a personality. Like I think, like if you're trying to get out the quote unquote social player, I think Ben's going to be like 3 or 4 on that list still.
Yeah. Well, also don't discount my strategy the last couple of seasons of just riding the waves. Mm-hmm. Ride that Ben wave. If you think, he's not doing very much, but Mariah's talking more or whatever, jump off the Ben train and jump on the Mariah train.
Yeah. I mean, was there any train you want to jump to? You got Tevin, Tiffany, and Hunter. You want to make any changes?
No, I like mine a lot. Tevin and Hunter are a nice little power couple, and Tiffany is a solid player with an advantage. So, no, if anything, I would get rid of Hunter.
Tiffany's got herself a fucking idol.
Yeah.
She's the only one that does so far.
Yeah, and Hunter, he is a challenge master, and I think one of Tevin and Hunter is going to get a lot of votes at some point, and I'm just hoping that that's they don't get voted out. They give me all of them points, so I'm keeping mine. I like my waves. My waves are cresting high.
All right, and Brian, you have Gem, Kenzie, and Venus.
Yeah. And then it's gonna stay that way.
All right. Good. Do you want to trade Gem for anybody? I don't know
No.
if Gem's going to be any good, but I like rooting for players on my team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I realized this episode, which I forgot to bring up earlier.
Oh, sure.
So clearly Ben's not the only Van Halen fan out there, because I absolutely noticed during the challenge when Jeff kept bringing up Van Halen songs. But
Oh,
first,
yeah?
I think it was Tevin jumped in. That one's an album, but he said "Diver Down," and then later he said when what's his face fell on his ass, he said, "Somebody get me a doctor."
Oh,
I'm
wow.
quite sure that was not a coincidence.
Okay. No, I guarantee you that's not a coincidence. That's funny. I didn't notice that at all. I did notice Charlie shouting Taylor Swift, though, and I was like, Charlie, I will fucking end you.
Okay.
You're not...
In his defense, they were told, like, do something fun when you jump off the platform, like make it a fun moment,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And then he was like, he said in an interview, he was like, I try to do like the 40-year-old virgin Kelly Clarkson thing. And of course, the only person he thought of was Taylor Swift. So he was trying to be like, Taylor Swift, like Kelly Clarkson.
Okay, that's all right.
There's some reasoning behind it, but I think it speaks volume that the only person he could think of still was Taylor Swift. Again,
I like that his first instinct was 40-year-old virgin. That's funny.
Yeah, that works all right.
All right. Okay, well, speaking of that's funny, we're going to be moseying on along till next week, and we will see you for one more episode of episode 5? Yes,
Yeah.
5. No, 6. No, 5. It was 5.
Well, it'll be R6. They're 5.
Yeah. Well, we'll be talking about the next episode of Survivor, which already has a name out there, and had you been smart, Andy, you would have tried to play the game and pick the person who says the name.
Nope,
but I don't know what
not
it is.
smart.
So nah, that's fine. You are SMRT. All right, bye-bye. Next week. Okay, that's good. And now...
That's good.